Well, hello, my dear viewers and my dear friends. Welcome back to the channel. Yes, I know I am terribly late. But alas, the chapter itself has been delayed. The chapter was only released yesterday during what? I think before lunch the chapter was already released. So I would place it somewhat like 11 o'clock in the morning, midday, almost something like that. I was at work, of course, and at night I hadn't the chance to record it. So here I am, Saturday morning, first thing in the morning, like almost early in the morning, recording that chapter and finally getting a chance to read it for you guys. So let us begin chapter 879, Big Mom Commander Katakuri. Yes, I'm not gonna read it Dogtooth, which is the manga stream title. I'm gonna read it Katakuri because screw logic. Okay. Dropping in on the lives of the Straw Hat Grand Pirate Fleet, Volume 13, Psyarch, the inevitable fallout from breaking off an engagement. Ah, poor Psy, he's all beaten up. And that goes Uru something, going away very angry. And I believe it's her father, Chichilidia, by the name that's written on his coat. I would assume on his clothes. I would assume that's his name. And then we have Don Chinjiao. We have Boo. Ah, poor Sai. And there's Baby 5 crying over him. Okay, I believe Volume 14 will be Baby 5 fighting against Uruchilitia. I believe that might be her name. And I think Baby 5 will become the leader of their navy. And then through her marriage with Sai, the 10th navy will be formed. That would be pretty funny. Imagine Baby 5 just arrived. She defeats the daughter of the leader of the 2nd navy. She takes the 2nd navy to herself and marrying the leader of the 8th navy. They become the 10th navy. Imagine the last cover of Sai's arc being them two together. And the title be something, the leaders of the 10th Hapo Navy. Not Hapo, it wouldn't be Hapo, it would be Jupo? I believe so, the leaders of the Jupu Navy, maybe, because Hapo hides the 8th, and Po, I don't know what Po means. But yeah, maybe if they join together to form the 10, that would be called the Jupo Navy. Chinjiao said that before, and I believe he said Jupos, but I'm not actually that sure on that, so if you guys know, please do let me know. Okay, enough of the cover, we will go towards the actual chapter. Ooh. Rain, oh. Damn. I can't believe Pedro, if only we were stronger. Damn. You see, I swear to everything, if Oda brings Pedro back, I'm gonna be so pissed. I know that no one dies in One Piece, but please, just this once. Look at that. It would take everything from this scene. Look at Brook's words, if only we were stronger. The regret is so massive. Damn. I'm shivering already. Our enemies should be the ones crying right now. Don't let your hearts get too clouded. Now wait a minute, Jinbei, those stone-hearted words sure fell rather easily from your lips, didn't they? After all, you'd barely spent any time with Pedro. Ooh. I'm telling you that this isn't the time to be letting down your guard. But back at the coast, it was kill or be killed. That's the sort of place we're in now, and we know that full well coming in. This is a victory for Pedro. He's right. If they manage to escape, the only way they can honor Pedro and make his sacrifice be worthy is to escape. So that's the only way they can make that worthy. So you've all been watching, haven't you? Just how many do you think our enemies have lost? From their perspective, they're going through an unprecedented disaster. Can't you hear Pedro crying out from within yourselves? Keep pushing forward. Luffy grasped the situation in an instant and enacted a plan to take on the enemy by himself. Katakuri's got a billion berry bounty. Luffy's life is on the line. Soon they will come. From behind us, the pirate queen of these lands, Big Mom herself. Who knows when the battleships of the enemy will materialize from behind the mist. Until we've at least made it out of these lands, where Big Mom will is absolute, don't let your guards down. Can't you hear Pedro crying that out? Jesus. Granted, those are some harsh words, but they are true words. Truer words have not been spoken in this saga. I mean, they have, but in this whole situation, ever since Pedro died, like, Luffy's words last chapter were an example of that. Harsh words, but true words. So, okay. So Chopper gets pumped up. Nami tells us what to do. Sanji and the others promise to come from Cocoa Island via this route. We've got to make sure we don't just miss each other. Rudder to starboard. We'll take on the wind on our starboard side and head straight west. Make a beeline for the rendezvous point. A slightly stronger wind will blow soon. We need it as a tailwind. I'll fill up the empty cola barrels we used up. I'll take care of watching over the ocean currents. Okay, so Jinbei is going to be the helmsman from now on. Okay, so Carrot takes on the job of watching the crow's nest. They're coming from our 6 o'clock, the ships from before, and what the hell? Big Mom, she's walking on the waves. The sea's frozen. Impossible, there's no way. I don't care what. Oh yeah, it's freaking Perosepero. Not on the waves, but on a giant moving mass of candy. Candy's sea slug. Where the hell did Zeus get off to? He's the one that's supposed to carry Mom over the seas. Damn, Carrot seeing Perosepero. Damn. Well, whatever, I just happen to have developed a rather profound hatred for those fools. But it doesn't matter, it doesn't bother me too much that I lost my right arm. No, I can just use candy to make up for it. But every time my right hand melts with the heat of a cup of the black tea I like to enjoy in the afternoon, well, I can't help but remember it, the face of that blasted jaguar mink. Don't you agree, Napoleon? There can be no greater shame than this. In my country, heinous criminals don't actually have much of a future, so that bloody cat's friend, how shall I make them suffer? Oh, they will make you suffer, don't you worry. Okay, so we changed sides a little bit. Okay, Whole Cake Island, Western Coast. So apparently we have Zeus and Prometheus. Everyone's gone. Whatever, I want to eat some fire. Okay, my strength. Okay, just that. Apparently Prometheus is waving down on his strength. Why? Could it be? No, there's two possibilities on this. Like, Oda doesn't do anything without a reason, and the fact that this is in here, it must mean something. So let us have a theory break. So I put two hypotheses on this. Either Prometheus has indeed an energy gauge, as in the more Big Mom uses him, the more he depletes that energy and thus has to replenish it, or since he's part, in fact he has a soul from Caramel. I don't think if exactly her soul, but I think it's her soul. Since he has Caramel's soul, and then Big Mom ate Mother Caramel, thus becoming her soul that's in Prometheus. The fact that she took so much damage actually had an impact on Prometheus. So could it be that they are related? I mean, they are related, so Prometheus has Big Mom's soul, but what I'm trying to say is, if you damaged one, then the other might also be affected. So in theory, if they could just defeat Prometheus, Zeus, and maybe Napoleon, maybe they would be able to significantly affect Big Mom's soul, thus rendering her body slightly weaker. I'm not saying like completely strip her out of her strength, but since we were attacking her soul, that's gotta do some damage, right? So that's a good possibility. In fact, it's a fair better possibility than just beating her on bare hands. Okay, inside Hotland Seas. Okay, there's Pound again. I must be mistaken, but that looks like my daughter, Chiffon. Oh, Lola was the chocolate minister of Cocoa Island. Nice. The chocolate minister of Cocoa Island, ever since she's been gone, the minister's seat has been vacant. And despite the fact that everyone would let you take it, you continuously refused that post. Where is she? Oh, she's draped under the carpet, just to be hidden from Sanji. And there's Pound beneath them. Oh, poor Pound. The only fitting chocolate minister of Chocolate Town is Sister Lola. I always hoped she'd one day come home. So Lola back from Thriller Bark was a famous chocolatier. That's all well and good, Pudding, but can you get out of there already? Yeah. Oh, Jesus. If I sit on the same carpet as that man while wearing this wedding dress, people will think that we're some sort of couple or something. Sorry for being annoying, but promise me you won't fall, okay? He keeps telling those things, and she keeps loving them even more. Oh, how nice is he? He's always worried about me. Shut up! Ah, Jesus. Pudding, whatever. We'll be at Kakao Island soon. Okay, let's make this thing quickly. My dear. Oh, Jesus, Pudding. Ooh, okay, here we are. The bread and butter of this chapter, Mirror World. Gomu Gomu no. Ah. It's useless except the lost Droid. Lord Katakuri is the strongest of the three commanders. You aren't getting back to the ship, you aren't even getting out of here. Oh, Jesus. Please tell it ain't so. Luffy used Hawk Gatling and Katakuri apparently just repelled it all. With the same technique. Oh, goodness gracious. Not quite right. This way is more efficient. Jesus, he's using Luffy's techniques against him. Lord Katakuri, that's not fair. What? What are you talking about? I told you, in terms of power, in terms of our powers, there's nothing you can do. I can't. Speed, power, all of it, you are inferior. Copying Miss Robbins much, are we, Mr. Katakuri? Like rubber would ever lose the mochi. Hawk stamp. And there goes Katakuri. Again. Ow! Ooh. Ouch! Even the hair has gone like... Jesus. A test of power next, huh? Get the hint. Jesus, his observation hack is just so much powerful. So much more powerful than his. He goes for Elephant Gun and Katakuri's already copying it. He made a bigger one. Jesus. But Lord Katakuri's is bigger. Jesus. That should be enough, right? For an elephant gun. Luffy will learn a lot from this fight. He will learn a lot. I will not be surprised if next time we see Luffy using Elephant Gun, he'll be able to use a much bigger one. Because we cannot forget, Luffy always learns something from his battles. Anytime, Luffy always learns something. Whether it's something simple that he needs to tweak, either it's a completely new technique, Luffy always takes something from the battles he goes. And he wins. Because he'll win against Katakuri. He has to, otherwise he won't be able to escape the mirror world. So I think that's what he will learn from Katakuri. Either his observation haki will surpass his, which I doubt. But Jesus, look at the comparison between them. Jesus. A 1 billion bounties power, absolute supremacy. And the chapter ends, of course it does. Imagine if Katakuri copies Gear 4. I assume that that would be too taxing on his body. I don't think he would be able to. But then again, he's mochi, so it turns his body into mochi. It's not like his body is mochi. Well, wait. No, yeah, his body is mochi. That's the thing about his paramecia. His body is mochi. So that's the Logia characteristic of his body. Of his devil fruit, sorry. Jesus. This will be an awesome fight. Sorry, I'm still kind of sleepy. I just woke up like half an hour ago. And I came recording right away, so still a little sleepy if you'd forgive me. And also it's weekend, so forgive my more informal attire. I know it's not how I usually record, but it's weekend. Please do let me have some more slightly comfortable clothing. Okay, so this was a very, very interesting chapter. However, there is still something that bothers me, and that is page 9. Big Mom going after them. When will the old hag just stop? This will be the longest cat and mouse chase of all time. Because like they'll have to not only either get to Kako Island before or just as Sanji and Pudding and Chiffon are making the cake. So, and there, I believe we'll have some battles there. I believe Carrot might try to face Perosepero afterwards. I think it will be her first main battle. Also, I like the idea of Perosepero having a candy arm. That's very cool indeed. Of course, however, it melts. What if he uses Haki? Can he use Haki with his candy arm? Because that's the thing. Haki is the power against devil fruits. So can he use it to cover a devil fruit power? That's a very interesting thought, one that I will not have in this chapter. Yeah, so we saw them flying over to Kako Island. Luckily they are getting there. I always thought that they were there already, but apparently not. But this battle, Katakuri versus Luffy, this is not going to be fun. So there's some ways that Luffy can beat Katakuri. Pure brute strength is not one of them. In fact, this is almost a reminder of Don Flamingo's fight, when Don Flamingo said, "Oh, you're fast, but you're not fast. But you're fast." He said about Gear Second, "You're fast, but you don't pack much of a punch." With Gear Third, he said, "You pack a lot of punch, but you leave yourself open to attacks." With Katakuri, it's kind of similar, but in the way that anything you can do, I can do better, and will do better. So, either Luffy has something in his sleeve that's completely unpredictable. Because another parallel that we can draw from this is the fight against Enel. Remember when Enel was the first character to ever show the observation haki? At least that I remember, but I think he was the first character to show the observation haki. And in his battle against Luffy, he was just like, oh, a punch from the left, and he would dodge the punch from the left. Oh, a kick from beneath, or something like that. He was dodging Luffy's attacks until Luffy was able to abstract himself using the Gomu Gomu no Baka. And he was just like, abstracting himself and managing to hit Enel. And then he used the octopus, and his attacks, he didn't knew where his attacks would hit, so Enel didn't have the chance to predict them. Luffy could do something similar to that, to the octopus. He could just inflate himself so much, turn against the wall, and then punch the wall so his attacks would ricochet. That could be also a way to defeat the minions. I'm not saying that Katakuri will be defeated by this, but maybe it would be a way to do some damage at least, so Luffy could understand, okay, so this is the way. Another way that I thought of right now is that Luffy could blindfold himself, still using his most powerful attacks, but not seeing where they would land. He would have to trust on his observation haki. And maybe that would be a way for us to see just exactly how a battle between observation hakis go. And Katakuri could even do the same. We could have like a sort of some black panels with their auras, and like all of a sudden, almost unpredictably, Luffy's aura would come right up to Katakuri's, and then we would see the attack hitting, and we see Katakuri taking damage. Then back again to the black panels, and we would see the aura, Katakuri's aura, and then all of a sudden, bam, Luffy's aura again. Without giving a chance for Katakuri to predict, because he would not be seeing Luffy as Luffy wouldn't be seeing him, and it would be a battle of observation hakis. That would be amazing, because what I think here is, in terms of armament, I would say that they are slightly similar. Katakuri is obviously stronger, but what gives Katakuri his strength in this situation is the fact that he can do everything bigger than Luffy can. So an elephant gun, he can do a massive one, whereas Luffy can make a little one compared to his. The Hawk Gatling, he was more precise. He was more precise with the... That's another thing, he was way more precise with the Hawk Gatling than Luffy was. That was a very, very scary thought. Like, Luffy's Hawk Gatling was just all over the place, as it is. Most of his Gatling attacks don't hit the enemy. Like, the way we see them spread, we can believe that no enemy is large enough to even get hit by all of those. Katakuri's were all more focused. It reminded me... This attack reminded me of someone. Someone who also beat Luffy. No, he did not beat Luffy. There was that guy with the jacket from the Funk Brothers from the Colosseum. The one who had the jacket fruit. And his younger brother, who was bigger than him and stronger, dressed him. And so he punched, I think it was Boo. He punched Boo to, not that, but he punched Boo way a lot, and the animation was sort of like this. That's what it reminded me of. But yeah, Katakuri's Gatling was way more precise, and I think Luffy can learn from this. So what I think is, next time we see Luffy using Hawk Gatling and Elephant Gun, and maybe Hawk Stomp, because like Luffy's Hawk Stamp is also one of those attacks that he leaves himself way too open. He just flings his leg and just hopes that the enemy doesn't dodge that. Katakuri, on the other hand, he made the propulsion of the Hawk like so quick and so near Luffy that when it hits, it's devastating. And then there's Elephant Gun, which obviously Katakuri managed to make a bigger one. So, Jesus. I don't know, man. Unless, of course, they can say that he'll be able to beat him by exhausting him with Gear 4. Which I don't think it makes sense, because if Katakuri's Armament haki is... if Katakuri's Busoshoku is way stronger than his, then he won't be taxed by the usage of it. He'll just be able to hold on for longer than Luffy can, and Luffy is already pretty beaten up. In fact, Katakuri so far is flawless. Katakuri is flawless in this, not even a dent. And Luffy's already all pretty beaten up, like bleeding from his eyes and mouth and nose. Luffy's pretty beaten up, so yeah, I don't think this is so far is a flawless victory for Katakuri, I say. But we will have to wait for the next week for the next chapter 880. In fact, 880. Look at that. And I thought that Whole Cake Island could end on 875. 4 chapters later, here we are, and 5 we shall be next week on chapter 880, which will probably keep the battle of Luffy versus Katakuri, unless they decide to actually not show that yet. But so, my dear friends, my dear viewers, this is it for this week's chapter of One Piece. This is the one video you will be seeing on Saturday. There is no Boku no Hero Academia chapter this week because the author has sadly fallen ill. There's an announcement at Manga Stream that was translated from the magazine that states that that the author suddenly fell ill and will be absent from this week's issue. I hope that everything is okay with him, and that as they state in the announcement, they plan to resume Boku no Hero Academia on the next issue, which will be released on October the 2nd. So it's basically the next week's chapter. So I hope that everything goes well. I hope that the author of Boku no Hero Academia is well and good and ready for the next chapter. But today I will be recording The Promised Neverland and the 7 Deadly Sins. But those videos you'll only be seeing on Monday, as is custom in the channel. I'm only recording them today because I want to get some work done, and since the chapters have released already, I can't actually stay without reading them because the anxiety is too much. But, my dear friends, my dear viewers, I say my goodbyes to you, and we will see one another Monday with The Promised Neverland and the 7 Deadly Sins. Say my goodbyes to you once again, and have a fantastic weekend. Bye bye.